Are you unknowingly allowing darkness into your life? Some people thrive on deception, manipulation, and cruelty, yet they often wear masks of kindness and charm. You might trust them, confide in them, or even love them, only to realize too late that they have been the source of your pain all along. The Stoics taught that true wisdom lies in seeing reality as it is, not as we wish it to be, and part of that wisdom is recognizing when someone is not just flawed but truly destructive. In this video, we will uncover 5 unmistakable signs of an evil person, the kind of individual who drains your energy, poisons your peace, and thrives on control. These people exist in all areas of life, at work, in friendships, and even within families. But once you learn to identify them, you can protect yourself, reclaim your inner peace, and live with greater clarity and strength. By the end, you'll not only recognize these warning signs, but also gain a powerful strategy for setting firm boundaries without losing your own sense of virtue and calm. So stay with us, and if you find value in this journey of awareness, consider subscribing. Let's dive in. Number 1. The illusion of charm and charisma. At first glance, some people seem almost magnetic, witty, engaging, effortlessly making you feel special. They light up a room, draw others in, and create an aura of warmth and confidence. It's easy to be captivated, to believe you found a rare connection. But the Stoics remind us that first impressions are often illusions. True character is revealed not in moments of charm, but in patterns of behavior over time. If you pay close attention, you may notice subtle cracks in their carefully crafted persona. They dominate conversations, always steering the topic back to themselves. They interrupt, overshadow, or even subtly belittle others, often disguised as humor or friendly teasing. A genuinely kind person lifts others up, but an ego-driven manipulator ensures they remain the center of attention. The real test comes when things don't go their way. A virtuous person handles disappointment with grace. An insincere one reacts with anger, manipulation, or defensiveness. They may sulk, lash out, or twist reality to maintain control. Marcus Aurelius warned against those who are quick to anger, for such reactions reveal a lack of self-mastery, a key sign of an untrustworthy nature. So what should we do? Practice the Stoic principle of apatheia, remaining undisturbed by external charm or theatrics. Observe how they treat others when no one is watching. Epictetus advised us to be slow in granting trust, for time is the greatest revealer of truth. If someone seems too good to be true, resist the urge to rush into admiration. Watch, listen, and let their actions, not their words, tell you who they truly are. Number 2. The absence of empathy. Empathy is the bridge that connects human souls, the ability to feel another's joy, sorrow, and struggle as if they were our own. It is what makes us not just individuals but part of a greater whole. Yet there are those who seem utterly devoid of this fundamental trait. They move through life indifferent to the pain they cause, unmoved by the suffering of others, and unconcerned with the consequences of their actions. The Stoics saw empathy, compassion, and justice as virtues that elevate humanity. Marcus Aurelius often spoke of the interconnectedness of all people, that by lifting others, we lift ourselves. So when we encounter someone who repeatedly dismisses, belittles, or even exploits the emotions of those around them, we must recognize it for what it is: a warning sign of a deeply flawed character. Imagine confiding in a friend, sharing something deeply personal, only to be met with indifference or mockery. A person lacking empathy won't just fail to comfort you. They may even take pleasure in your vulnerability. They will not celebrate your victories, but instead undermine them, downplay them, or worse, steal credit for them. This behavior is not always loud or obvious. It can be subtle, a dismissive shrug, a sarcastic remark, an absence where support should be. This lack of empathy extends beyond personal relationships. Consider a boss who overworks employees without regard for their well-being, demanding long hours without fair compensation. They ignore exhaustion, deny reasonable requests, and publicly humiliate rather than constructively correct. In a world where leadership should inspire, these individuals cultivate fear and resentment, turning workplaces into arenas of stress and despair. But the most dangerous consequence of an absence of empathy is that it often paves the way for cruelty. Without the ability to feel for others, a person has no moral restraint against harming them. They lie without remorse, cheat without guilt, and manipulate without hesitation. Seneca taught that our actions should be guided by virtue, that we should seek to be just, kind, and measured. When someone lacks empathy, they are disconnected from these values, leaving them capable of destruction without a second thought, even in small, everyday interactions. The signs are there. They interrupt conversations, making everything about themselves. They ignore distress when help is needed. They take but never give. These may seem like minor offenses, but together they form a pattern, one that reveals the truth of their nature. The Stoics remind us to observe, to discern, and to trust what we see rather than what we hope to believe. If you find yourself dealing with someone who lacks empathy, the wisest course is not to change them, but to protect yourself. The Stoics emphasize the importance of safeguarding one's peace, of setting firm boundaries against those who drain and diminish us. You do not owe your energy to those who show no regard for your well-being. Distance is not cruelty, it is self-preservation, and in preserving your own virtue, you ensure that you are not pulled into their darkness. Number 3, the subtle art of manipulation. Manipulation is the silent weapon of those who seek control. Unlike direct aggression, it operates in the shadows, twisting reality, distorting truth, and making you question your own mind. A manipulator doesn't overpower you. They bend your will until you surrender without realizing it. One moment, you feel confident in your judgment. The next, you're doubting yourself, unsure of what's real and what's imagined. The Stoics warned against allowing external forces to cloud our perception. If a man does not know to which port he is sailing, no wind is favorable, wrote Seneca. A manipulator's goal is to make you lose your sense of direction, to destabilize your thoughts so that they can steer you toward their own desires. This is why clarity of mind and unwavering self-awareness are essential defenses. One of the most insidious forms of manipulation is gaslighting, where a person makes you doubt your own memory or perception. You might recall a hurtful comment they made, but when confronted, they deny it ever happened. You're being too sensitive, they say. You always misinterpret things. Over time, this erodes your confidence in your own judgment, leaving you increasingly dependent on their version of reality. Manipulators are also masters at playing the victim. They use guilt as a tool. making you feel responsible for their happiness or well-being. Perhaps you have a friend who constantly complains about their problems, expecting you to drop everything for them. Yet they are never there when you need support. If you really cared about me, you'd do this, they insist, turning your kindness into an obligation. But, as Epictetus taught, we are responsible for our own emotions, not those of others. Recognizing this truth allows us to break free from such emotional blackmail. Another tactic manipulators use is deceptive flattery. At first, they shower you with praise, making you feel special and valued. But over time you notice that their compliments always come with expectations. Their approval feels conditional, something you must earn by complying with their wishes. The Stoics remind us that true self-worth comes from within, not from the fleeting approval of others. If someone's affection feels like a transaction, it's not genuine. Financial control is another powerful weapon of manipulation. Some will borrow money with no intention of repaying it, while others will seize control over finances to limit your independence. In a relationship, a manipulative partner might insist on managing all the money, making you ask for permission before spending anything. This tactic ensures dependence, making it harder for you to leave. But the Stoics emphasized self-sufficiency and personal freedom. A truly virtuous person seeks to empower you, not control you. Recognizing manipulation is difficult, especially when emotions are involved. The Stoics teach us to observe without illusion, to see things as they are, not as we wish them to be. Ask yourself, do they make me feel guilty for setting boundaries? Do I constantly question my own reality? Am I losing my sense of independence and self-worth? If the answer is yes, it's time to step back. The solution is not to outmaneuver the manipulator, but to stand firm in your own principles. Set clear boundaries, communicate assertively, and do not allow guilt or false affection to cloud your judgment. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Protect your mind from distortion, and you protect your peace. You have the right to your own thoughts, feelings, and choices, and do not surrender them to someone who seeks only to control. Number 4. The grip of control. Few things are as suffocating as control disguised as care. A controlling person does not seek connection, they seek domination. Their influence extends beyond simple preferences or strong opinions. It is an attempt to erode your autonomy, to make your choices feel irrelevant, and to mold your world to fit their will. The Stoics, who prized self-mastery and freedom, would see this behavior as a direct threat to living a virtuous life. To be controlled is to surrender your agency, and to control others is to stray from wisdom and justice. True relationships, whether in friendships, families, or partnerships, are built on mutual respect, not coercion. Control often starts subtly. You might have a friend who always decides where you go, what you do, or who you spend time with at first. It seems harmless, perhaps even convenient, but soon you notice that your own choices are dismissed. I know what's best for you, they say, or trust me, you'll enjoy it more this way. Their voice becomes the only one that matters, and your independence begins to fade. In relationships, control becomes even more dangerous. A partner might demand to know where you are at all times, check your phone, insist on access to your social media, or dictate who you can and cannot see. What may seem like deep concern is often a mask for possessiveness. You find yourself walking on eggshells, carefully managing your words and actions to avoid conflict. But as Epictetus reminds us, no man is free who is not master of himself. The moment you start living under someone else's rules against your will, your freedom is already slipping away. Control can also take the form of financial dependence. A controlling person may insist on handling all financial decisions, limiting your access to money, or making you feel incapable of managing it yourself. He'll take care of everything, they say. But soon you find yourself powerless without financial independence. Leaving becomes difficult, and autonomy becomes a distant memory. The Stoics saw self-sufficiency as essential to personal freedom. When someone controls your resources, they control your ability to act on your own behalf. Another method of control is isolation. They chip away at your relationships, convincing you that your friends don't care about you, that your family doesn't understand you. "I'm the only one who truly gets you," they whisper, drawing you deeper into their grasp. Over time, you stop reaching out, stop seeking support, until they are the only voice in your life. But the Stoic warned against solitude enforced by manipulation. Seneca emphasized that we thrive in strong communities, where we are challenged, supported, and reminded of who we truly are. The most sinister form of control comes through threats and intimidation. A controlling person may use fear to keep you in line, threatening to leave you, to harm themselves, or even to hurt you if you don't comply. This environment of fear warps your thinking, making it difficult to see a way out. But true courage, as the Stoics taught, is found in standing firm against tyranny. "He who fears death will never act freely," wrote Seneca. To live in fear is to surrender your own power. Controlling behavior is not about love, nor is it about protection. It is about possession. The Stoics would remind us that a life dictated by another is no life at all. To live with integrity, we must reclaim our autonomy, set boundaries, and stand firm in our own decisions. If you recognize these behaviors in someone close to you, do not rationalize them away. Take a step back and ask yourself, am I free to make my own choices? Do I feel supported or suffocated? Is this relationship built on respect or control? If the answers reveal a loss of independence, it's time to act. Set boundaries, assert your voice, seek support, and most importantly, remember, no one has the right to take away your freedom unless you let them. Number 5. The poison of pathological lying. Few things corrode trust as swiftly as deceit. A pathological liar does not simply twist the truth on occasion. They construct entire false realities, weaving deception into every aspect of their lives. Unlike ordinary dishonesty, their lies often serve no clear purpose beyond control, self-aggrandizement, or mere habit. Over time, they create a world in which only they dictate what is real, leaving those around them lost in a fog of uncertainty. The Stoics held truth and integrity as sacred. Marcus Aurelius taught that to live in accordance with nature is to live in alignment with reason and reality. A person who constantly lies is in direct opposition to these principles, not only deceiving others, but also corrupting their own character. To live dishonestly is to live in self-betrayal. At first, the lies may seem small, embellishments to make a story more interesting, exaggerations to appear more impressive, but soon they escalate. A pathological liar may fabricate entire events, take credit for achievements they had no part in, or weave intricate tales of hardship to gain sympathy. In doing so, they manipulate others into seeing them as more competent, more heroic, or more victimized than they truly are. In the workplace, such deception can be particularly destructive. A liar may inflate their contributions, spread false rumors to undermine colleagues, or distort reality to shift blame. They thrive in environments where truth is elusive, leaving others constantly second-guessing what they know. The Stoics would warn us to remain grounded in our own integrity, refusing to be drawn into deceitful games. As Epictetus said, it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. When faced with dishonesty, our power lies in how we respond, with clarity, wisdom, and restraint. In personal relationships, pathological lying is even more insidious. Imagine loving someone who constantly lies about their past, their whereabouts, their emotions. This creates a reality where you are always doubting, always questioning, never truly at peace. Over time, you may even begin to distrust yourself, wondering if you are simply imagining things. This is precisely what the liar wants, to keep you unsteady, confused, and reliant on them for truth. One of the most dangerous aspects of pathological lying is how convincingly it is performed. A skilled liar does not hesitate. Their falsehoods come smoothly, woven with just enough truth to make them believable. They may feign sincerity, show emotion, and offer intricate details, making their deception nearly impossible to detect at first. This is why the Stoic principle of vigilance is crucial. We must observe patterns, not just words. Does this person contradict themselves? Do they become defensive or aggressive when confronted? Do they shift blame onto others rather than take responsibility? A person of integrity admits faults. A liar doubles down, weaving an even tighter web of deception. Over time, constant exposure to lies erodes trust completely. Even if you catch them and they promise to change, the damage lingers. You may find yourself unable to believe them, no matter what they say. Suspicion takes root, and relationships become toxic battlegrounds of doubt and resentment. The Stoics teach us that trust, once broken, is difficult, if not impossible, to fully restore. So what can we do? We must set firm boundaries. If someone repeatedly distorts the truth, we must decide whether their presence enriches our lives or poisons them. Seneca reminds us that he who does not forbid sin commands it. To tolerate deception is to allow it to continue. The Stoics would advise us to act with wisdom, either addressing the behavior directly or, when necessary, walking away. You are not obligated to exist in someone else's illusion. If a relationship, whether personal or professional, is built on lies, you have the right, indeed, the duty, to protect your peace. A life rooted in truth is the only life worth living. Stoic wisdom on setting boundaries. Your peace of mind and integrity are worth more than any relationship built on deceit, manipulation, or control. The Stoics understood this well. Setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness, but one of wisdom. It is a declaration of self-respect, a way to protect your well-being while staying true to your values. Boundaries define what you will and will not tolerate. They are not walls meant to isolate, but guidelines that ensure mutual respect. As Marcus Aurelius advised, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If you allow toxic influences to shape your life, you risk losing your sense of self. Self-clarity is essential. If someone repeatedly belittles you, lies to you, or disrespects you, be direct. I will not accept being spoken to this way. If it continues, I will distance myself. This is not cruelty, it is self-preservation. Epictetus taught that while we cannot control others, we can control our response to them. If someone refuses to respect your boundaries, it is a sign that the relationship itself lacks respect. You may face resistance. Those accustomed to control or manipulation may react with anger or guilt-tripping. Stand firm, as Seneca reminds us. Associate only with those who improve you. If necessary. Walk away. Some connections are not worth the cost of your peace. Finally, prioritize self-care. A mind fortified by wisdom and a heart anchored in virtue cannot be easily swayed. Set boundaries, enforce them with confidence, and remember, your well-being is not negotiable. Thank you for spending this time reflecting on these important truths. Recognizing and protecting yourself from toxic influences is an act of wisdom and self-respect. If this video resonated with you, let me know in the comments. Your insights could help others on the same journey. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Stoic insights on navigating life with clarity and strength. And if you're ready for the next step, check out the suggested videos on the screen. Stay strong, stay wise, and remember, true power lies in mastering yourself, not in controlling others. See you in the next one.